Hi guys, Storm here with another video. So I just got my Wizeka knife set. The box is very dusty, dirty. Not a big fan about that. We also have some descriptions on the side. Doesn't say Jaguar matching on the other side, which is kind of disappointing. I'm gonna open the box and get some stuff out. So I'd opened the box. I didn't want to waste your time cleaning it in front of you guys, but this was very, very dusty. Even still, you can see some fibers. It's not easy to just do with paper towel and normal multi-purpose spray. Be careful not to use like bleach wipes, but it did get some of, there's like some fiber on here, like they didn't properly sand it. They also don't tell you anything about the block, unfortunately, on either of these cards. They don't tell you which knife goes where. They don't tell you if you need to leave the protectors on at the tips. I'm assuming not. The top one is obviously for knives. Sorry, scissors. But they don't tell you anything else, which is really, really disappointing. The knives are clean and properly packed, so I'll give them that. And also, if you will watch Project Farm, he does a complete back-to-back testing to see which is the best knives, best durable, best sharpness. And Wizeka was one of the top two between that and Global. And I thought, well, Wizeka is better priced and it has a longer sharpness over time. So I thought, why not? So I decided to get Wizeka, the Jaguar set. It would be great if they had an instructional video. I actually went to their YouTube and their website, and they don't seem to have an instructional video on which direction to put the knife, if it will start cutting into the block, if you put it in one way versus another. So I'm a bit disappointed in the lack of, how-to videos and help. But other than that, it's okay. You have to literally send them an email, which is kind of obnoxious, to ask any questions. But who knows when they'll respond. So it would be nice if they included which knife goes where, how to keep your knives in better shape and all that, but they don't. So it's just very frustrating. But yeah, that is the unboxing. I will show you what it looks like when I have them all put in correctly. So we're doing it in size of order. We have the shears. We have the chef knife. I don't know if you're able to see that. The 8-inch bread knife, the 7-inch sentoku knife, the 8-inch slicing knife. That would technically go in the other way. My bad. So it'd be the 8-inch slicing knife, then the 7-inch sentoku knife, the 5-inch utility knife, and the 3.5 paring knife. And then you have 6 steak knives for guests. I'm going to go over some of the issues I've noticed with some of these knives. So I don't know if you can tell, but right before my thumb, there is, trying to focus on this thing, there is a black divot. There you go. See how it's focusing on it? I don't know if it's showing it as the circle, but just before, there's a, come on, focus. I have to put it down. There is a, come on, it's a black divot. I don't know why the camera doesn't want to focus. There you go. You can see it now. So the black divot. Not a fan of, scratches, it'd be nice if the professional grade was actually professional and didn't have any divots. Or scratches. Whether it has scratches or divots, neither is acceptable if they're claiming to be professional. So there's a couple of scratches as well as divots. It's hard for the camera to exactly show it. So I'll do it from right about this distance. And then the other side, there's a couple of divots. I honestly I'd rather have scratches than divots. Divots are little chunks taken out of the knife, so. Because your knife set's going to get scratched up anyway. This third divot is towards the base of the handle. Next, we're going on to scratches. There's scratches towards the base right there, as well as more scratches towards right there. A minor scratch towards like those black wings, very minor. There's a minor scratch towards the base of the handle. And then on the tail end of the 5th steak knife, there is some kind of divot or scratch. A couple of scratches on here towards the base of the knife. Also a lot more scratches right here on the from handle to knife. Then there seems to be some kind of scratching right here. I don't know if I can get it with the reflection, but seems to be some kind of scratch along the ridge right there. So yeah, for a professional knife company, I don't appreciate that. For the paring knife, it's hard to make out, but there is a kind of scratch there and a minor scratch towards the blunt end of the top of the blade. A couple more scratches on the flat side of the blade. A somewhat scratch on the base of the handle of the utility knife. Some kind of divot scratch towards where the handle meets the blade, divot end of the blade. A couple of minor scratches on the Sumtoku knife towards the NSF logo. There's this weird blue hue. I don't know if that's dye or cleaning material or some kind of polish. That's bizarre. A couple of scratches towards the swerve of the knife. Almost looks like dents. And then you have one right there where my thumb is. There is a very slight dent. Almost looks like a pen was jammed into it. Right there. A minor scratch next to one of the diamonds. A pretty major scratch coming down the side of the handle. Not, that's almost divot and then leads to a scratch. Not a fan. That was the slicing knife. Moving on to the bread knife, there is base scratches towards the curvature of the knife and the handle. Bro, when you try to pause the video and it won't pause. This is probably one of the worst multiple dents at the base, which is very off-putting for those that are like sensory or are particular about having nice, knife sets, especially if they're coming brand new, not used. Other than that, except a couple bit of spotting. Is that spotting? No, that's just debris. That's it for the bread knife. Moving on to the chef knife, there's a kind of scratch, kind of like almost like a heartbeat monitor at a hospital. It kind of just goes up and down. Huge scratch divot right there. I actually didn't notice before. A scuff mark towards the finger protector. Moving on to the shears. They have this weird plastic coating on the white parts of it. If it wants to focus, there we go. Was able to get rid of a little bit, but it wasn't like properly managed. This side's fine. And a random some kind of debris, brown spot towards that part of the shears. Very frustrating. All right, so that's all of it. I'm probably nitpicking it. I don't mind the scratches. It's the divots and the very noticeable things that are like making obvious imperfections of the knives that I don't appreciate being a new knife set. So we're going to show you how each one goes. The top part, that's where the shears go. Each of these 6 steak knives, because you're not expected to have more than 6 guests at a time. Some people say put it like this, but that makes it grabbing it a lot less, and plus it doesn't match the angle going in. As you can see, that that's not normal, that's not flush. So instead, you're going to have to risk the grinding of that going down in. Just be very careful so that it's flush and that you can actually grab it. And just be careful when you're lifting it. Lift like this, not like this, because then you can end up damaging the blade over time and scratching the inside of the block. When inserting the steak knives, use the flat back end of the knife to guide it in rather than making sure the serrated ends does not touch the end, and then simply let it lay flat, and it should be like that. Shouldn't be more than a wiggle. Unfortunately, I have not been able to find a single YouTuber telling you which slot goes in which. Not Wizeka's YouTube channel, not any unboxing reviewers. So I'm going to try to find out, and I will finish the video with showing you which slot goes to which. So I've looked all over. It's been about an hour, 2 hours, to actually at least 2 hours, and no one was able to tell me anything. So I said, well, fuck it, I'm gonna go and try putting in it and see which fits. And I do. It's very dusty. I don't know if you can see it. I tried putting wet wipe down there, but it's very, very, very dusty. And actually, that's stuck down there now. But yeah, I don't know if you can see that. It is very dusty down there. I did it into the 2 big holes. I didn't do it to the smaller holes, but it's just incredibly dusty. It's like the craftsman's like, hey, let's just leave it out to get dusty and not take care of it and wrap it immediately. It's like, what were they thinking? How can you call yourself professional and allow it to get so dusty and dirty inside and out? It doesn't make any sense to me. So I read in order to clean it out, the dust is to warm soap and water and just let it sit there and dry. The one thing about these knives I've read for reviews is that they can be prone to rust, which is kind of dumb because it's not carbon fiber. So when cleaning these knives, do not put them in the dishwasher. Hand clean them and dry them, or just let them sit and dry. But just make sure to get most of the water off, and try to use like a dry mat and just let me show you. Let the knife dry itself like this. Because unfortunately, when you use kitchen knives, especially when you put them in the wash, there are fibers and they can get all over the knife. So you're stuck with basically using these mats to wipe it like I did, unless you have a specific cleaning cloth that doesn't attract fibers like that. And as far as, I've not been able to think a single person that was able to properly do it, so through trial and error. Obviously, the steak knives go here. Obviously, the scissors go here. But since they have similar sides to each, I said, well, let's just do, you always start on the left and you finish on the right. You always do the wrong thing, and then you learn through life and you finish on the right. You always start small and then you get bigger throughout life. So I made that the same thing starting. Smaller inch to bigger inch if applicable. And then starting off, the biggest knife on top right, the smallest knife top left. So you go left, right, left, right, left, right, since there seem to be about equal sizing. And let me just show you which ones I chose. Also, because of the way it's felled, it seems like the knife sharp side needs to be inward. I'm only doing this for aesthetic purposes, so you guys know I'm going to be taking them out and drying them after this. But the paring knife is what I choose, since it doesn't seem like there's a real way to do it. The paring knife having all the sharp knives facing inward. Then next we have the utility knife, again facing inward. So the left knife facing on the right, and the right knife's sharpness facing on the left. Then you have the bread knife at the 3rd spot. Then you have the slicing knife on the 4th spot. Then you have the just a moment. Santaku. It's gonna take a little bit to learn that. It's like a studded chef's knife. And then you have the chef's knife. Yeah. Obviously, you go from, if there's ones of equal and the one's 8 inches, go 7 inches, and 7 inch on the left and 8 inch on the right. And so yeah, there you have it. As far as I know, I'm the first one in the world to tell you the proper way to do things and keep it in that order as far as organization goes. Also, if you do it the opposite way, it won't be flush with the knife's tread. See how it goes incline upper right? If you try doing it the opposite way with the sharpness facing opposite, do you see how it doesn't properly sit and snug? So you want the knife snugly, carefully facing inward. And see, that's how it should look like, as far as I know. Until I'm proven wrong or told otherwise, this is the organization system that I have, since both on either side, the first row seems to be equal to that of itself. The second row is equal of itself, and the third row, 2 small holes, 2 medium-sized holes, and 2 big holes. So there you have it, guys. Any comments, questions, concerns about the product, feel free to leave me in the comment section below. I'm learning. This is my first knife set ever. Come learn along with me, and we'll learn together about what's the best way to handle these knives, upkeep these knives, and what is the best to cut with what type of thing. So obviously paring knife would be, fish, and bread knife would be bread, but just come along with me for the ride and we'll figure out the best way to use and upkeep the knives. Thanks.